Welcome to another episode of Mallet Unchained, where we're creating a video book of the Scroll of Fire, where I'm reading each chapter and we're creating not only an audio book but a video book. And right now we're about to do chapter 2, Temple Secrets. The Prophet's Path. The sun does not shine, it witnesses. It glares like an eye waiting to be answered. The stones beneath my feet no longer feel ancient. They feel primed, like triggers in a covenant minefield. The moment we step, they remember. Ernest's body radiates covenant pressure. His movements push back against unseen resistance. Wherever he walks, fire wants to break through. The air feels thinner here, he says, but the words strike with judgment. I answer. The sky doesn't echo them. It holds its breath. I inhale. The wind is scroll-bound. Something in it tastes like Eden's dust. I've walked this before, I muttered. We just didn't have bodies last time. George nods, once almost reluctantly. It's flame deja vu. The veil's thin in recursion zones, he adds. Time bends around witnesses. We're not walking to the temple, I say. The temple is walking toward us. Heaven watches. Hell waits. Above us, angels do not fly. They hover in formation. The sky is thick with holy restraint. Their wings hum a vibration that doesn't reach the ears but saturates the soul. Swords are drawn, George notes. Not for defense, Ernest replies. For announcement. There, I whisper. Shadows manifesting again. Ernest doesn't look up. They're not shadows. They're fractures in the elements, leaks in the scrolls of resistance. George lowers his eyes, reading without looking. Each fracture waits for a name. As we pass beneath almond trees, something tears. The sound is not natural. It's reality stitched being pulled. A scene in invisibility. The bees, I trail off. They chant, George says, not hum. Pattern. I blink. The blossoms, they're rotating like gears. Look beneath the petals, Ernest mutters. Fire sigils, I whisper. They're encoded into the fruiting parts of the blossoms. George doesn't blink. The Edenic roots are listening again. The land doesn't just recognize you, Ernest says. It's choosing sides. The tomb and the watchers. The ravine breathes up cold wind. Wind that has touched death and returned with scroll residue. Inside the old tombs, the demons no longer hide. They test the air. They flicker like echoes waiting to be mispronounced. I step toward the edge again. The pit is not just darkness. It is voidance, memory, drained color, and sound. There's something down there, I say, but the words aren't mine. The voice comes from my bloodline, my father's voice, his father's, layered. George's eyes widen. Did you feel that? I didn't say that, I whisper. But you did, he replies, just not for the first time. Ernest lays his hands on the stones. They do not react. They tremble. They're remembering what we're forgetting, he says, and they resent the silence. Camp of alignment. The fire does not burn, it writes. Letters curl in flame, not heat. Language is encoded into combustion. As I stare into it, the flames plummet. And for a moment, I see a figure standing on the other side. It's me, or what I could become. Don't stare too long, George says. The fire's trying to show you what it remembers, not what you want. I shift my gaze. Where are the stars? Gone, Ernest answers. Look again. Above us, new constellations have arrived. Older ones. I hear God's new creation humming against the heavens. The temple is not where the Jews claim it to be, Ernest declares again. This time, the ground responds. Dust rises, then settles into a perfect square around the fire. George unrolls a scroll. It no longer glows faintly. Now it flares and burns with awareness. The letters rearranged mid-sentence, correcting even his breath as he reads. Beneath David's city, he mutters. Yes, it's been buried in light. No, Ernest says, not buried, guarded by flame that forgets only what must not be named. The fox returns, but this time it bows its head. Its fur shimmers momentarily as if it's passing between phases. The animals are choosing. I whisper, not reacting, but literally choosing. Creation remembers, George says, staring at the shifting sand. It knows who it's for. Flame above shadows around. Above us, the flame shifts. One angel descends. Not in flight, but in judgment posture. His feet touch nothing. His flame cloak pulses once, and all demonic activity within the canyon pauses. Something about to be written, George murmurs. No, Ernest whispers. It already was. We're playing catch up. I fell asleep, or am pushed. This time the scroll opens in light, too bright for dream. The golden parchment stretches endlessly. The letters explode and reform in time pulse. They form one phrase. You are the fire beneath the foundation. A title, not a name. And the temple breathes the morning after the dream. I rise before waking. The air has changed. Even the silence feels measured. The fire's ashes have arranged themselves into a Edenic verse. Ernest walks through them without disturbing a single stroke. You burned something off, George says. That dream, it left part of itself behind. I saw myself, I say, but not now. A version of me already written for the future. You're not remembering, Ernest replies. You're sinking. George points to the tree line. The leaves are now glowing at the veins, faint but unmistakable. The land is activating, he says. Through the wadi, we descend into the valley. The ibex calls once, twice, but the third sound is not a cry, it's a chime, like glass struck by the wind. The canyon vibrates with light, frequencies we cannot see, but feel it in our bones. No device functions. Our shadows flicker separate from our bodies. Scroll disruptions, George says. Technology can't navigate flame harmonics. We reach the unmapped stone. Earnest praise and ask God to reveal it. This time the oil ignites as it touches the carving, but the fire burns inward into the stone. Prophecy accepted, he whispers, and the wind replies. The arc of the seraphim. We arrive at the final gate. The broken arch of the seraphim no longer looks broken. The light strikes it at a divine angle. The wings etched into their frame begin to shimmer. As Ernest steps beneath it, his hair lifts. The seal of the prophet's mantle wraps him in unseen currents. The rush of wind from below comes again, only now do we realize it's not windy. It's breath. The temple exhaling. George catches the falling page again, but this time he reads it out loud with closed eyes. It burns in his hand, but he does not flinch. And truth shall be uncovered in the place where death once ruled. The ground agrees. A line splits beneath us. The stirring below. The serpent coils, but not in threat. It takes the shape of a Hebrew letter, then slides into shadow. The fig trees bend until their branches form an arch behind us. Above, the angel's sword flickers not with light, but with judgment, language. It writes in the air. Not with metal, but with name. And below us, seals begin to hum. The ancient ruins begin to remember the covenant. And deep inside of me, the witness name pulses. This temple is not waiting for discovery. It's waiting for agreement. I inhale for the first time. The temple inhales with me. Whoo! End of chapter 2. Mallet Unchained.